Hey guys, welcome back to this tutorial. Today we'll be looking at how we can go about restricting access to certain parts of our site. Now, up until this point, I'm sure you understand that a controller literally controls the entire site. It controls the flow of things. Anything that you request to view, which will render what we call literally a view, is going to be searched for and later rendered by our controller. So every request will pass through the controller and it will yield a result. What we want to look at today is restricting what somebody can or cannot see. All right. So today we'll be using this courses controller as our guinea pig, as it were, and then we will dissect what we can put in to control who can see what. Now, the first thing that I want to point out is a new data annotation that you would have seen in the account controller called authorize. Now, authorize means that you cannot access anything inside this controller unless you are authorized or by extension authenticated. Authenticated meaning you have signed into the application and you're identified as an authorized person. In short, if I want to restrict everything inside of my courses controller, meaning you can't view the list of courses, you can't view the detail of any course, you can't create a course, and you can't edit or do any of these operations in addition to whatever else you may have added to the controller, then I need only right above the controller declaration, write open square bracket and the word authorize. And you can always hover over it and see that it specifies that a controller or action is restricted to only people who meet the authorization requirement. And in this case, you have to be logged in to be counted as authorized. So if we do this and then we run and then attempt to browse to anything inside of the controller for courses, then we should be redirected to the login page. And we'll try that. Now, in our last video, we did test the registration and login features and we saw that they work. And we just specified that courses should require some amount of authorization before it grants access, which means that this button, which should lead to courses, should restrict me from proceeding. And let's put that to the test. So I'll click learn more and then voila. I am now required to log in. And then if I say login using that existing user information, then I will be redirected to the courses index page. I can go back home and for the entire duration that I am logged in, I can click learn more and go ahead without any hindrance. All right. And then once I'm here, remember that the authorize was over the entire controller. So once I'm authorized, I can now edit and delete and view details and do all of the wonderful things that I would be allowed to do as an authorized person. Now I'm just going to log off and then we'll continue with our experiments. And you see that having logged off, it moved me automatically from the restricted page back to a page that it doesn't really care if I access or not. So for our students controller, we also want to authorize because we don't want every and anybody to be able to just get into the system and view and delete and edit, etc. But then I want to lift the restriction on the view for the student listing. So everything requires authorization, but I want this particular action, maybe some others also, but in this situation, this particular one to be able to be viewed without having the proper authorization. So there's another attribute called allow anonymous, which if you read the tooltip kind of overrides the authorize attribute. So authorize attribute is global. It's the overlord. All of the controller has to answer to it. But then anywhere that has allow anonymous kind of says, okay, I'll make an exception for this one. You don't have to be authorized for that one. All right. So you can add that to index. I want to restrict the creation of a student and editing of a student and deletion of a student by a non-registered user. So I'll leave those alone and then we can see if that works. All right, so we're not logged in. and then we want to go over and view all students. So I go to all students, and then we see, wow, it loads. I'm still not logged in, and I'm able to browse all students. However, when I try to create new, edit, or view details, and I open all of these in different tabs so we can see the different results, you see this is create. It's requiring me to log in. This one is edit. It's requiring me to log in. And this one was for details. It's requiring me to log in. So you see, although we authorize the entire controller, we can allow anonymous access to particular views that, if the person is not logged in, okay, fine, we'll let you see the information. But to get any further, we need you to be authorized. You can also add this authorized to particular views if it is a case where you have the controller and you want all of it to be open to everybody, but for one or two views, you can just add that authorized attribute directly to that action in your controller. So instead of allowing anonymous, you would authorize right here above that action, which would then restrict that action's accessibility. So I hope you guys found value in this video. The next video will talk about restricting it based on rules and modifying what options are available on the view when the person is authorized as opposed to when they're not authorized, or when they are a particular role versus when they are not. All right. So thanks for viewing, and see you next time.